Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope you all are doing well. We're going to give it some time, allow more of our family members that trade with us to go ahead and join in. What's going on, everyone? Now, it is storming outside, right? So we may be a little glitchy on the live stream, so my apologies if we are. You guys may hear thundering and things like that in the background as well, so definitely keep that in mind. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes, allow more traders to go ahead and join in. On today's session, we're essentially going to analyze the markets in preparation for London and New York trading for tomorrow. But however, we may see an actual move to get into during Asia session. I'm not necessarily going to teach an Asia session trading strategy, but I am going to look for certain things to take place while I am analyzing these different assets. And if those things take place, then we may actually have a trade that we can hop into. So we will keep that in mind for sure. What's going on, guys? I want to know where you guys from. How are you guys doing? Let me see. I don't know if I can pull up the chat on here. I should be able to. Let's see, chat. But then it makes it so large. Let's see if I can make this smaller. There we go, perfect. All right, so I want to know where you guys from. While we're waiting on other traders to go ahead and join in. Let's see if I can move this. Okay, I can't move that. Okay, that's fine. I want to know where you guys from. How are you guys doing? What style of trading do you guys participate in? Also, let me plug up my, give me 1 second, guys. All right, just bear with me, guys, 1 second. All right, we're good. So let's bring this back up. All right, cool, we're good. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, keep in mind it is storming where I'm at right now, so there may be a little bit of glitchiness with the stream, but hopefully, fingers crossed, everything plays out smoothly. So I will be talking a little slower than usual for you guys, just so you guys can, keep up and things like that. Give me 1 second. All right, so we are good. Okay, so let's get into today's stream. I kind of like the live streams because for one, it's just one take, but also you guys get to see a little bit more of my personality and like who I am as a person and things like that. So we'll start off with AUD USD. Now I believe we have traded into a higher time frame. Point of interest, yes, we have, which is here, right? So we mitigated a little deeper into this supply region. I am looking for bullish continuations for the time being. However, I am anticipating some type of reaction here, right? So if we go to the M5 time frame, now why the M5 time frame? We're not going to do any teaching. I forgot. Okay, so now let's go down just a little lower. Okay, so I am looking for a possible reversal on AU. We can see that we do have this internal sweep here, and then we have this break to the upside here, right? However, I think we're going to have continuations bearish, and I think we're going to go lower. So I'll be looking for bearish continuations. Right now, we already have our main break to the downside being here, right? Price creating this newfound higher high. We essentially sweep liquidity above the highs that we created during New York session. Price rolled over, and we take out higher low structure that was responsible for that higher high that was also created before New York session had ended, right? And then we see that price essentially. And then we see that price essentially continues to move to the downside, breaking that low as stated before, right? We have that retracement into our premium pricing, right? As you guys can see here, right? Based on the M15 time frame, we do have a mitigation here of this apex, right? However, I don't normally trade Asian session, which is why I was not prepared to take this sell here. However, it looks like we will possibly get a continuation during London. We may get a continuation during London, and then, I mean, we're pretty much good until we run into this area right here. Maybe this area, right? But I think we're pretty much good until we run into this demand that accumulated here. Right now, that is not a trade signal. You know, I'll just simply be managing. I'll just simply be managing how price is playing out from here, right? So if we do take out this low, I'll be interested in this area possibly for day trades. Let's actually go to the M1 and see what did Asia session actually trade into. And that's solid if you ask me. So those of you all who are a part of my mentorship program, I introduced a new concept to you all this past Monday, right? And I have another advanced concept to introduce to you all tomorrow on our advanced midweek check-in. For those of you all that are not a part of the mentorship program, I live trade with my students every single week, and I also have 3 webinars throughout the week that you guys are able to sign up for and tune in. They're all free, and it just comes with your mentorship package. So for students that are a part of that, we will be introducing one more thing that is more advanced, and I'll be introducing that to you all tomorrow, possibly. All right, so within this area here, this was absolutely phenomenal. This is how I trade Asia session, which I've never actually taught before, but I'll kind of show you guys an Asia session setup. I really don't trade Asia session like that, as you guys know, but this is something that you can take advantage of during Asia session. Should we pull up a clean chart? Let's pull up a clean chart. Oh man, I wasn't gonna do this. I wasn't gonna teach, and here we go. Okay, we'll just do a quick lesson. Nothing too in depth, nothing too serious. Very, very quick. Okay, but this is something that that I utilize. So, I mean, this can really be utilized during any session. I just found that it works best for me personally during Asia session. But it's just really the concept overall that's important to me personally. Okay, so I'm just gonna essentially analyze it, okay, as if I were applying the strategy, but I'm not necessarily going to do too much teaching because I'm gonna save this for my mentorship students, and for those of you who have access to my advanced course, I'll be adding this to the advanced course. So I'm not gonna do too much like explaining, but I can essentially analyze the chart, show you guys how I would analyze the chart, and then you guys can see essentially what type of new content you'll be getting. Okay, essentially that's what I'm gonna do. All right. All right, let's get into it. Let's just start. So right here we have essentially equal highs, right? Relatively equal highs. And I like trading liquidity, right? Like I go back and forth with this. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like sometimes I like trading supply and demand a little better. Sometimes I like trading like conceptual wise. Like if I had to choose one concept, sometimes I like trading supply and demand. Other times I like trading market structure, and sometimes I really like trading liquidity. And once you go through the mentorship program, I literally break down and teach all of those concepts that we just went over. I literally break it down and teach you guys in depth on each of those concepts. And then my trading strategy that I teach you all within the mentorship program actually consists of all three of those concepts. That's why it's so high probability. And that's why we're pretty much able to produce 8 to 12% on average per trade. It went up just a little bit. It used to be 8 to 11.21. Now it went up to 8 to 12.36 last time I checked. So that's good. Our numbers are increasing, which is what we want. So I do like trading supply and demand. As you guys know, supply and demand is one of my favorite concepts to actually trade. Market structure is cool too, but I was already used to market structure from previously trading technical analysis with Fibonacci retracement. I am no longer a technical analysis trader, just letting you guys know. So you guys know that supply and demand was really my go-to, right? I love supply and demand, don't get me wrong, but liquidity is just very easy to trade. Supply and demand gives you an insight into the market and like what's going on, but liquidity is just very easy to take advantage of and to trade, which is why I like to trade it. So there was actually a setup that took place here. We missed it. But it was an agent setup, and it looks like it's going to hit TP. So essentially I'm going to mark up the chart as if I were going to trade it, like how I would prepare my chart before agent session, and then I'll kind of walk you guys through it. So here we have two relatively equal highs, right? We essentially know that there's liquidity resting above relatively equal highs. Well, after we have those relatively equal highs, right, formed here, all right, that actually formed during New York session. I did not take any New York buys. I was looking to take a buy position here, all right, during New York session this morning, and then we did have that initial push to the upside, and then I was looking for price to possibly retrace back to this area here. It never took place, so I actually did not get into the market. Now I was a little conflicted within this area simply because we did take out this liquidity here. Now on my server, we actually made a wick high above these highs here, right? However, on most of the servers on TradingView, we did not, which means they were relatively equal highs. So I was just a little cautious about taking this trade this morning. Okay, so here we can see we have relatively equal highs, and price essentially runs on those relatively equal highs and then pushes to the downside, and we have a breakup structure to the downside here. Right now, remember this is on the M15 time frame. You can use this concept with any combinations of properly correlated time frames. Right now, if you don't know how to properly correlate time frames, join the mentorship program or just watch my YouTube videos to get an idea of how I correlate my time frames together. Now, this can be used to position trade, intraday trade, swing trade, or day trade. Day trading is literally holding a position for a session. Intraday trading is holding a position for maybe 2 or 3 sessions, maybe a day or so. Swing trading starts to get into holding a position for 2 to 3 days or more, and then position trading is when you're holding positions for weeks and possibly even months, right? Yeah, definitely pushing months, right? But they're not really based on the amount of time you hold your positions. They're based on how you correlate your time frames and what is your macro and micro time frame, which a lot of people don't even think about, right? A lot of you guys, a lot of traders may think that, swing trading, intraday trading, day trading, the difference is, how long you're holding the position. No, that's not true. It's really based upon where your targets are, and those targets will determine how long that position is being held, but really the time frame is what determines those targets, right? So keep those things in mind. Oof. Sheesh. I went to the chiropractor this morning. Okay, anyways, so we see we have a sweep of liquidity here. right? And then we have a break to the downside here. Now, this is something that I haven't taught yet. So mentorship students, if you guys are watching this stream or if you guys are watching this recording and you're a little confused, it's okay, right? But what's really important to me is when I have that sweep of liquidity, right? And I see that we, after that sweep of liquidity, we have a market structure break to the downside, right? Giving me a difference in the way that price is delivering and the way algorithm is delivering price, right? Now, we're not going to get into algorithm, but you guys must know algorithm moves price, right? That is the absolute truth. Markets are highly manipulated. They have to be. Anyways, so this is our sweep of liquidity here, right? We see that. In this area, there is some type of, there's a spot where there's imbalance within the market, right? There's a spot where the way that price is delivering, or the way the algorithm is delivering price, there's an area where that changes, okay? And that is essentially what I target. And this really starts to move into my hedge strategy. And like I said, I haven't taught this yet, but this is a juicy webinar for you guys, juicy live stream. So that gap is where, that piece of imbalance is where I know the algorithm has changed the way it's delivering price. And sometimes it's filled instantly, sometimes it's not, but we still like to take advantage no matter what, right? So since this did take place after New York session, usually it takes place within session. Since this area took place after New York session, right, it only makes sense that it's, it has been traded to during Asia session. So these are the types of things that I look for when I am trading Asia session, right? So let's go ahead and just first mark up the area that I would take the trade, and then I'll show you guys that, I know for a fact that price traded inside of this area. It's something that price just has to do, right? Once you guys understand that there's an algorithm that moves price, it's not moved by anything other than an algorithm, and that algorithm uses liquidity in order to fuel itself, right? So this area here. Now, I'm not necessarily saying, okay, and why is it this area? Once again, we'll go over this one more time. So essentially, we sweep this liquidity here, and after we sweep that liquidity, we have a change in market structure here, right? And then price left imbalance here, right? Essentially, this entire candle here is an order block, okay? These two candles here, this bullish inside bar here, and then this bullish candle here. That is what an order block is, okay? An order block is not necessarily an individual candle. An order block is a range of price that is blocking certain orders. There's an imbalance within that area usually, right? I'm not really going to get into the technicals and everything behind order blocks right now on this live stream because I don't want it to be too long and I don't want to bore you guys really. But this entire range here is the price range that is blocking orders, which is essentially why we have imbalance here, okay? This imbalance here that you guys see within a certain session, price will trade back into that area because that is the area where the algorithm changes the way it has delivered price, right? And that's when we start to target sell side liquidity, right? As you guys can see here, we target this area. We eventually start to target these areas, which I will show you guys later on in the future, right? So definitely keep that in mind. I will be releasing a course that is strictly based on algorithmic trading and how to actually take advantage of algorithmic trading. Now, it is going to be based around the lower time frame, so do keep that in mind. So those of you guys that want to trade based off the higher time frame and things like that, you may want to stick to the current course information and the current course that I have. But for those of you guys who do want to get into high frequency trading, which is literally just taking a lot of positions on the lower time frame using certain criteria, and this is one of the criteria that you can use, especially when you are day trading and things like that. So in this case here, how would I set this order, right? So within a session, I would set this order with my entry being here, okay, and my stop being above this high here, or you can have your stop above the open of this candle here, right? It's completely up to you. So it can be above these highs, right? It can be above the open of this candle here, or if you're really feeling, a little uneasy about your trade, then you can easily set it above this high here, but there's really no need. And remember, it looks the same every single time. Like what I'm showing you guys here, this right here, okay, how, this is looking, this is how it looks every single time. This is how the setup looks every single time. It doesn't change ever, right? And I usually take it on the 2-minute time frame. But like I said, this is something I haven't taught publicly just yet, so do keep that in mind, all right? My mentorship students, you guys will get it first. So when I do this, I do round up at times, but I don't always do that because this is a very, very specific trade. You're not looking for price to play around too much. You're looking for price to tap in and then run out. Okay, that's essentially what you're looking for. So you're not really, your risk appetite on these types of trades shouldn't be, it shouldn't be too large, okay? But you can have confidence in, having a small stop loss for these trades, especially on something like Euro USD. AUD USD is decent as well, but especially a pair like Euro USD where spread is between 3 and 5 pipettes, you can definitely feel confident in that, right? So here we go. As we can see, price trades right into this area. We do toy around just a little bit, okay? Stop above or right at the open of this bearish candle that, created this overall imbalance here. We can see that price trades into this during session, okay, as stated. And if you would have taken this trade, well, if I would have taken this trade, actually, I would have been up around 6.78%. However, I did not take this trade. I literally just finished recording a video, literally just finished editing it and uploading it for you guys. It should be uploaded within the next hour or so. But yeah, so I'm not actually in the markets, but this is, how I would have taken advantage of Asia session. Right, very straightforward. So that's and my students do know I have been toying around with Asia session a little bit more lately as well. So now that you guys watched all of that content, okay, let's start to get into what am I anticipating on for London session and things like that. All right. Okay, so as it relates to Euro USD, let's go to the H1. All right, so as it relates to Euro USD, now those of you all that are a part of my mentorship program, we called buys out here. We can see that price literally taps into our M1 entry, which was here, and then pushes to the upside. However, I was not in this trade simply because it took place during Asia session yesterday. So, and I really don't trade Euro USD, especially during Asia session. I'll trade other pairs during Asia session, but not the dollar or the euro versus the dollar. So anyways, what am I anticipating? I'm anticipating right now some type of possible reversal, right? Let's go to the daily time frame and let's see what's going on the daily. Okay, so it looks like we're reacting to this supply here, which we can see beautifully here. So it looks like we are going to get some type of possible sells come into the market. All right, for the time being. This is tricky structure right here, right? I'm not really liking it, to be honest with you guys. Let's go to the M5 to look at a little bit more. So we can see that on the lower time frame. So this is the break on the M5 to the downside. Let's go back to the M15 because I really don't want to use M5 as my. All right, I could roll with that. So we can see that New York session definitely gave a possible sell here. Right, if we go to the M1 time frame. Now I did not take this trade right here. I actually did not even trade New York session, which is why you guys did not see any content from me this morning on my Instagram story. Okay, so That was a beautiful trade. So if you were following my trading plan, my personal trading plan, if you're part of my mentorship program, remember we do things the exact same way every single time. It does not change. It never changes. It will never change unless it changes for the better. This would have been our entry right here on Euro USD. So we'll do a trade breakdown of this here, but remember I did not actually catch this trade. That would have been solid though. M15 would have been our time frame of choice for our target, and an easy target. Very, very straightforward. This low right here. That's around 5.42%. That is over 5%. That is an excellent day trade in my eyes, right? We can see that price hits that target right here within this area. A little after the session had ended, but it's all good. Nonetheless, that's still 5%. On a $100,000 account, that is $5,000 in 4 hours, 45 minutes. Where are you getting paid $1,000 an hour? Nowhere. Excellent trade. Like I said, I did not trade New York session, but now I'm wishing I would have. Because that's exactly how I would have taken advantage. This is a live breakdown for you guys. So let's discuss what I'm anticipating. Since we do have that based on the M15 time frame, I am looking for bearish continuations for the time being until we get another possible transition. Now, where am I looking for price to tap back into? My point of interest is going to be this one. Man, okay. So it looks like we had another trade during Asia session that I missed personally, but it is okay. So let's actually apply the strategy here and see if, let's apply my Asia session strategy and see what price does. And I hope we haven't been on this live stream too long. Let's see. Here, let's see. Let's refresh this. Give me 1 second, guys. With my mentorship